Welcome to Lesson 3, The Different Roads to ISO 50001. At this point, you should have a good idea of the ISO 50001 related end goal that you want to achieve based on your organization's drivers and available resources. That end goal might look different in the short and long term, depending on where your organization is today. There are different roads to ISO 50001 certification that you can take. The journey will be different for everyone. It's important to remember that just because you have a particular goal in mind now, your drivers and potential end goal may change in the future. So, it's a good idea to start down a path that could eventually lead to ISO 50001 certification. To illustrate some different roads to ISO 50001 and the factors that made them the right choice, we will look at 3 short case studies. The first case study is Maple Leaf Foods. The important consideration for this case is related to their endpoint. They were in the early stages and still deciding how to assign resources, but had made public commitments to sustainability and felt that ISO 50001 could help them meet those commitments. They've been actively engaged in good practices for many years and had incorporated some continuous improvement, but they weren't sure if ISO 50001 certification was really necessary. As a result, they had no timeline or plans to achieve certification. Even though they hadn't set certification as a specific goal, they wanted to make sure that their current efforts were still aligned with the ISO 50001 standard in case their situation changed. So, they hired a consultant to conduct an ISO 50001 gap assessment and are using it along with the ISO 50001 Ready Navigator to guide their efforts. In the second case study, we explored the City of Mississauga's journey. They had already applied ISO 50001 principles in managing energy consumption at some of their buildings and seen the benefits it provided. So they knew that the end goal they wanted to achieve was ISO 50001 certification for the rest of the organization. They had a flexible timeline. They wanted to focus on building internal capabilities to help ensure long-term energy savings. Instead of hiring consultants, they spent several years building their internal energy team, gradually expanding and refining their processes, gathering support and applying lessons learned along the way. With strong teamwork internally, they were able to tackle certification on their own and gained recognition as the first Canadian municipality to achieve ISO 50001 certification. The City of Mississauga might have taken a longer route compared to others because they spent considerable time building their team and internal capabilities, but it was a path that aligned with their priorities. Our third case study is of General Dynamics Land Systems Canada manufacturing facility. They had been participating in a strategic energy management program offered by London Hydro and Save on Energy to improve their energy management practices and had achieved some impressive early successes. They considered that ISO 50001 certification was a way to reinforce these efforts and communicate their commitment to environmental responsibility. Strong leadership support gave them a clear directive to accelerate their efforts and set ISO 50001 certification as a short-term goal. To achieve certification in a short time frame, they secure a third-party consultant and leverage external expertise to quickly put systems in place and train internal staff. With this strong commitment and support from consultants, they were able to achieve ISO 50001 certification in 10 months. In each of these case studies, the organizations determined their road to ISO 50001 by asking 3 key questions. What is my endpoint? What is my timeline? And what support will I need? These are important questions for you to ask about your own situation, what you're trying to accomplish, and how quickly you want to accomplish it are things you'll need to get consensus on from your organization's leadership. You may not have a specific deadline in mind, but if that's in line with your drivers, that's okay. You can move at a pace you can manage with the resources you have. If things change and more urgency is needed, you'll be on the right track. The last part of this conversation, which goes hand in hand with your end goal and timeline, is which resources or support you will use. In the next lesson, we'll explore getting help on your road to ISO 50001.